Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining from either place, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to go through them all as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at our headlines. Well, for the rest of the night, of course, that alert is over. It's been long gone, and now we'll just dry out and cool out for the rest of this evening and into tomorrow. It's going to be tranquil here with some sunshine headed our way for Sunday and into Monday, and then it's going to be much warmer for next week with the chance for some more strong to even severe storms possible Tuesday and into Wednesday. So we have added alert days to both days. However, the timing of everything still a little bit fuzzy. We may be able to move the alert day to just one day depending on how it all shakes out. So I'll break down those details for you coming up in this forecast. But let's start off with a look at what's going on outside right now. That cold front is continuing to pass over the tri-state now. That is what kicked up all those scattered showers and thunderstorms earlier this morning and into the afternoon, which have all shifted off well to our east. Now we just got a couple of special weather statements across portions of the deep south. But thankfully here in the tri-state, we lucked out and we didn't really see any warnings within our viewing area. However, some areas just to our south and west picked up a couple of warnings, even a few tornado warnings that mostly weakened by the time they got into the tri-state. But here's kind of a longer form loop of everything that happened earlier today. Those storms got going a lot earlier in the morning and then continue to press through portions of southern Indiana and western Kentucky, headed into the late morning hours and into the afternoon before finally clearing out. Not too early or not too long ago with around 3 o'clock or so that we saw most of those showers well off to our east. And we picked up a lot of rainfall out of it. We picked up anywhere between 1 to 2 inches, maybe even some pockets closer to 3 or 4 inches, just depending on how those thunderstorms trained. But most of us picked up 1 to 2 across the tri-state, and these are radar estimated. So some of these numbers may be a little bit inflated. So if you do have any rainfall reports from just the day today, I'd love to see them in the comments if you could. But taking a look at what's headed our way through the rest of this evening, that front will continue to pass to our south and east. As it does so, we'll hang on to some of that cloud cover even into tomorrow morning before we finally clear out entirely. By the late morning and early afternoon, we'll see a return of that sunshine, and then we'll stay clear Sunday night and headed into Monday before more clouds roll in Monday evening, and that'll set us up for a cloudy and stormy Tuesday and Wednesday. But here's a look at what's going on out there right now. Temperatures have settled mostly into the 50s across the tri-state. Areas that already have that front move through, like in southern Illinois and Fairfield, you've cooled down into the upper 40s. 54 in Henderson, 58 in Madisonville, 54 as well here in the Evansville area. So we'll continue to cool off through the rest of the night tonight down into the lower 40s, and then we'll hold on to some of that cloud cover into early tomorrow morning before it gradually dissipates headed towards the afternoon hours. But one thing we can't forget is that we've got to set those clocks ahead 1 hour before we go to bed tonight. And that'll mean we have later sunsets and eventually in the next couple of weeks longer days. So here's a look at some of those sunrise and sunset times through the next couple of weeks, months, and up until we get into the first day of summer. So in the next 2 weeks, we'll add around 35 minutes of daylight with that sunset occurring around 7:03, and in just 1 month from now, we'll add another 1 hour and 16 minutes to our day with that sun setting at around 7:18. And then by the time we get into the first day of summer, the longest day of the year, we'll have added another 3 hours and 12 minutes of daylight, and that sunset all the way back to around 8:16 p.m. And remember, daylight saving time begins tonight, so you want to make sure most of us have automatic phones and cars that update without having to do it yourself. But if some of you still have alarm clocks or have some clocks that are decorative hanging out on your walls, you definitely want to make sure you change those over. And it's also a good time of year to check those smoke and carbon monoxide detector batteries and making sure that you're all good to go. But looking at that forecast tomorrow, once that cloud cover clears out out through the morning. We'll warm back up into the lower 60s through tomorrow afternoon, and with winds out of the south, that'll keep things mild for us, not only for the second half of the weekend, but really warming up here as we get into the start of the work week. By the time we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll be topping back out into the 70s before cooling down by the end of next week, down to around average for Thursday, and then into the 60s and upper 50s there for Friday and into Saturday. But you'll notice we've got a little thunderstorm icon there on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's where we'll see our next best chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, a few of which may become strong to severe. So let's take a look at that alert day. Again, we've issued them for both days, but depending on how the timing of everything works, we may be able to shift it to just Wednesday because that looks like where we'll see most of our action. But as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center does have us highlighted for the potential of severe storms for Tuesday and on Wednesday. On Tuesday, it looks like mainly the northwestern half of the tri-state highlighted in that slight risk level 2 out of 5. And then by the time we get into Wednesday, it translates mostly to the southeastern half of the tri-state there with that slight risk. So depending on the timing of everything, maybe this all just moves in on Wednesday and we may be able to kind of scratch it off of Tuesday, but we'll need a little bit more time to see clearer details. But here's a look at the longer range European model just to give us a better idea. We'll have some pop-up showers and storms possible throughout the day on Tuesday, but that's not looking like the severe weather threat. It looks like if we do see severe weather on Tuesday, it may end up being Tuesday night, but a lot of the models keep that potential off to our north and to our west, whereas once we get into Wednesday, that's when we'll see the better chances of those strong to severe storms headed into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening before it clears out Wednesday night. And then we'll dry out nicely by the time we get into Thursday. But taking a look at your 7-day forecast here, just to kind of wrap it up in a little bow, it's getting better with time. You know, last week we had pretty much rain going for us every single day. This week we do have a decent amount of dry time outside of Tuesday and Wednesday with those chances for showers and storms. So let me go ahead and take a look at some of those comments. Linny, he's here saying good evening to you. Same thing to Suzanne. She said, we sure had a lot of rain. Yes, we did. Cheyenne says good evening. Zach asking about a severe thunderstorm outbreak next week. I wouldn't say outbreak, but the potential for severe weather is there for Tuesday and Wednesday. Laura Gray is watching from Dawson Springs. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Chris Smith says, be sure to change the time on your stove, oven, and microwave. Those are always the three things that I forget to do. And honestly, for the last year, I think I haven't really changed it since we went back to Central Time. So I've just been subtracting an hour on my microwave because I'm too lazy to change it. So don't be me. Make sure you take care of that tonight before you head out tomorrow. Cindy Young says we had 4 inches of rain in Elberfeld. Okay, that maybe checks out with that radar estimated rainfall that we had. Tanner asking if Tuesday could end up being totally dry. I don't think so. I think even if we don't see that severe weather threat materialize on Tuesday, we'll still have that potential for those pop-up showers and storms. So a lot of details still need to be ironed out for Tuesday and Wednesday, so hopefully they become clearer here tomorrow and Monday. But that is all I'm seeing here for the comments. So I am going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe, have a great rest of your night, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.